Testing, testing, testing. Testing. Got it. Testing. Okay.
Before we get started with our next presentation, I'd just like to welcome our people that are joining us by the live stream. Thank you for joining us. I have up on the screen right now a link to our GoFundMe page. We are, of course, this is a organization funded by charity, and so we need your support so that we can continue to bring you events like this. Today, we have a group of workers working on the roof of one of our bell towers. It's just maintenance that's needed when you have a gorgeous old building like this. We need to keep up on stuff like that. So we have the GoFundMe set up to help pay for, and our building is our biggest expense for operating this organization. We have this huge building here in downtown Superior. It's gorgeous. We have these wonderful stained glass windows. And a great brick exterior, but of course that needs maintenance to keep it going. So for those of you that are following along on our GoFundMe, we would really appreciate it if you could, or following along on the live stream, we would appreciate it if you could go on to the GoFundMe link, which is showing up on your screen. If you want to just have a clickable link, if you go to the description in the video, there's a clickable link down there, and that'll take you to our GoFundMe page. So we really appreciate your support for this. And then I'll turn it over to Helmi for the introduction of Joanna.
Thank you for returning this afternoon. I hope you enjoyed the lunch. By the way, I had forgotten to put out a donations pot there. You know, food isn't free either, and you're here, you enjoyed it. Put some money in that pot. I'm glad that you're here, and thank you for joining us. I have the honor of introducing Joanna Darrow. She is absolutely one of the prizes of accordiondom in the United States. She's been around forever, which I say with respect and love, because so have I. And she was married to Stan Darrow, his duet partner, for many decades. She lives in New Jersey, and that's way too far away as far as I'm concerned. But she puts on annual festivals and concerts and performances like we do, so she understands all of this really well. Joanna has been a friend for decades and decades, as was Stan. Unfortunately, he's passed, but you should know how important he and both of these people were in my life. Because when I moved to Minnesota and got interested in accordion history, Stan was one of the few people who jumped on the bandwagon to encourage that. There were plenty of people who said, no, there's no reason for accordion history, don't waste your time. But I didn't listen to them, and I did listen to Stan. And Stan said, I have a wonderful collection of instruments, of photographs, of music, and such things, and I'd visit his display every time he showed at AAA or at ATG, and always there were wonderful pieces that he had collected because he knew what to collect. He was smart in the way of knowing that history has to be preserved or it gets forgotten, and that happens far too easily. Joanna was there by his side every time and always helpful, and has continued to do so, because at least a couple of the accordions that are of great significance to us downstairs in the museum came to us through Joanna's hands. She bargained for them, she saw them, recognized what they were, and that they needed to be in a museum, and saw to it that we got them. Joanna Arnold Darrow, a fine accordionist and duet partner, and a lovely human being about which we can all be proud. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. Okay. So we're going to talk about probably the most significant person in my life. We'll be talking about the most significant person in my life. And however, we don't want to mix up with all the good things that he's done, the kindness and gentleness and wonderful human being he was, with sainthood. So anyway, the screen is not visible from your side over here, but the screen is probably the most priority part of the stage at the moment. So if you would like to move over here, that would be best. So the first group of photos that we have are photos of Stan himself in different periods of development through his life, and after that followed by significant people who were very significant in his life. This first photo is as a Titano representative or Titano artist, and it's actually from Minneapolis. It's Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's an advertisement put out by the Titano company by the Traficantes. Yes. Now the next photo is the schoolyard gang that he was a part of. He was born and raised in Camden, New Jersey, and this is his friends group from his classes and things like that. Can anyone pick out who it is, which person it is? Pardon me? That would have been it, but no. Here, on the end. Yeah. Yeah, as everyone else who has seen him, and he always wore a tie, but that's not at that time. Okay. Yeah. So this is a picture when he was 15 years old, and I just happened to come across it. Here is 1948, an ID card. Okay. And then the next one is the beginning of his accordion profession, performing in some advertisement. And this was a professional photo that was taken for publicity. Again, always with the Titano, because that's, with the instruments, he felt that were the best for his students and for himself. Now, the next picture is rather contradictory to that. Okay. There's a lot of questions on how this picture came to be. But in the back is a book, an encyclopedia, a Golden Musician's Encyclopedia, that Stan is pictured in. And Horner had gotten a call that they wanted to find an accordion player's picture to put in this book with a definition of an accordion. And when he went there to do it, he took his accordion, but they said, no, you need to use this one. So he had to take that picture with a Horner. And he had a lot of regard for Horner. I mean, Horner did some amazing, wonderful contributions to the accordion world with their instruments and their education and their concerts. But this is the only photo I think you'll find with a different instrument. This is a photograph of a live performance in Montreal when Christian DiMaggio had us come up and give a duo and a solo performance after one of his festivals that he was promoting. I think Joe Mozzarella. This is a concert or a picture in front of where we pose in front of a wall mural, a painting on a building in Paris. And there, another one. We're always looking for instruments for Helmy, but We were at the Horner factory, and in their vestibule area, they had instruments, historic instruments in a showcase. And so that's where we got that one. We also have pictures, and I don't think I have that here, of the 6-foot-tall accordions that they built. And they're real instruments that work, but I don't think anyone could play it. So anyway. Okay, now the next one. I didn't include myself in this picture, but we have this picture and we have a duo picture of this. This is in Harper's Ferry, which is at the crossroads point where the 3 states come together. So we hiked up this uneven step area that took us many, many feet up to get to this high point where you could view all 3 states at that point, and we took photos. Now, granted, that was probably the only time I was in shape and thin to be able to take a picture, but that one's not here. All right, next. Okay, I'll let everyone guess whether you think this is a real elephant or a fake elephant. We were in Vermont on vacation, and we went by an area that had a circus, and they were in town, and this was actually one of their advertisements to come to the circus. So it was not a real elephant. It was a fiberglass. Okay. Now, I'd like to play for you the whole recording of a piece that was just released, which I didn't bring a copy up here with me, and a project that was been in the process for many years. In fact, when I called the CD company to get it started again, they looked up my past accounts and said, oh, the last time we talked about this was June 2006. And that was only like 6 weeks ago. This project got put on hold many times. So this is a recording. The new CD is recording of things that Stan had performed on LPs in the past, and duets with myself, also with Gerard Greasy, with Frank Hudnicki, and also a chamber trio with accordion, and piano, with the composer on piano. And that's all in the CD, and you can, if those are for sale, if you want to get them at the end, they're over there. Okay, so this is the Balkan Impressions, Balkan Fantasy. Thank you. This was actually mostly improvised, pretty much on the spot. He kind of worked it out the morning of. We were recording in Holland during the rainy season in March, and in order to get from the engineer's home to his backyard, like garage, workshop, engineering place to do it, it was so muddy and everything that we actually had to wear those wooden cloggy things to get there. With accordions on, walking out, it was not easy, but it was quite interesting. Okay, so as much as Stan was very involved with presenting original music written for accordion, he also had a very strong ethnic streak of interest in music, especially music of Poland and the Balkan countries. I wouldn't play any polkas with him. So why would I play a polka? You know, it was like I wanted Baroque music, classical stuff, very serious, sophisticated things. But he still wanted to play polka. So to my dismay, he betrayed me and found another duet partner that would play polkas with him. That he did was with our accordion orchestra, and we did the Gerhard Mohr Concerto Barocco, which is not on this CD, but is a wonderful piece for accordion orchestra and violin solo. So let me see, and the next one, Then there were some awards that he received, and they're in the back. They're on that. You see, there's like nine plaques and things there. So, but I have pictures of them here. And this first one, I think this. Let me get it bigger so I can see it. This is a plaque that was given to him on the 50th anniversary of our Westmont Philharmonia Accordion Orchestra by the mayor of Haddon Township, and for his service and dedication to the community. Next, let's see. Many people don't even know who he is. Was Bob Mork. This picture is Charles Nianti, Irene Adams, and Bob Mork. Bob Mork works for Horner in Hicksville, and he and Stan met somehow, and he talked to him very strongly about this accordion college that was in Trossingen, Germany. And through that conversation and through sponsorship partially by Horner, Stan in 1964 went to study at the Trossingen Accordion Conservatory. And that is actually a state accordion college in Germany. It's pretty much was sponsored by Horner. It was right around factories in the same block where the factories were. I'm sure Helmy knows exactly. So Bob Moore introduced him to the people in Trossingen, and from there an entire world opened up. It was that's where he was introduced to original accordion literature, because Horner was doing so much work with commissioning composers to write original accordion pieces and was publishing them, recording them with series and series of LPs of accordion orchestras and soloists. So this is where Stan met Ellegard and Hans Rock and several other people that helped down the line with his career and studies. Let me see. The next one is, I didn't know, that one came out of order somehow. This met every one of our students as they left their lesson. Everyone, including me, from the time I was, it's posted on our front door, and you couldn't get out without seeing it. So, and this was actually published by Shaw Company, the Shaw Music Publishing Company. Okay, so let me see if we can get back to. All right, good. All right. Okay, this is a picture of our accordion school. And we take a National Accordion Month picture the first Sunday of every November, because November is National Accordion Month, and it was organized by the AAA, American Accordion Association, and it was registered and everything in Washington. And then come along a little bit later came June as Accordion Awareness Month, which is a whole different thing. So. But we did this. We would have all our students come out and all get together in front, and then afterwards we would have a festival of concerts all day long going on inside. This event. And I forgot to take a picture of it, and I'm really sorry. You know how wide a four-lane highway is, and it took us several years to get this, but we spelled the word accordion in people. So the first time we did, chalked it out on the street one letter at a time, and everybody got together, the people that were in that picture, and they stood on the chalk line, and we made these pictures from above, from the roof. The photographer went up and did it. And after we did them all, the first year, there were a couple letters that didn't quite come out good enough. So we did those extra letters the next year, and the final letters the year after, and we finally have it. And it's hanging in our studio, and I just forgot to take a picture of it and include it here. So, but those were some of the crazy things he did. So, and in this picture, there's people up on the roof and in the trees with accordions. I mean, there's just, he didn't believe in worrying about the insurance company either. So, okay. This is Carl Parenfeller, one of the finest artists, just an incredible performer. And if anyone has a chance to obtain a recording of this LP called Accordiorama, I think it is. It's the Horner Symphony, and Carl is playing, I forgot the name of the piece, Paganamania on it, but with the orchestra as background. It's a gem and a gold, just a beautiful diamond of our musical history, and the performance is incredible. No, I'm sorry. This is Frau Braun, and Frau Braun was one of his teachers. And let me see. We'll get to Carl. Let me see. Let's go back to this yellow one. Yeah, that one. This is from the state of New Jersey, Department of Education. New Jersey tried to license music schools, so that all around all the music schools in New Jersey, if you were going to be able to teach music, you would need a license. And in order to do that, you would have to meet certain criteria. Well, there was a group of teachers from the Music Teachers National Association, the New Jersey segment of it, and was part of that and everything. And they got this organization going, this committee going, and it was passed in New Jersey. But they didn't have the way to implement it. So they did it and set up all the regulations and requirements, but then after like a year or two, it was gone. But we were actually one of the state-approved music education schools, and you were able to get credit for taking accordion lessons at our school if you were going to college or getting college credit. Yeah. So, and this picture is the one that this is Frau Braun, one of his teachers. I'm sure, Tommy, can you say anything about Frau Braun? I only met her one time. Any memories, fond memories of her? Okay, got it. All right. So let's go to the next one. I think you may have skipped Fritz Dobler. There's a picture of Fritz Dobler. That is another person that Stan studied with. He studied conducting with him. And then this is the accordion orchestra, the Horner Accordion Orchestra, and Carl Parenfeller is the first chair, and this was directed by Rudolf Withner, and they did a tour in 1960 of the United States and performed in New York City, and it was apparently a very memorable tour. I was only maybe 8 years old. I didn't go see that. But in any case. All right. Let me see. Some other significant people. Let me see. Okay. All right. Do you have a Dance for Sane file, sound file? It should be right before this. It should be right before that picture. This is written by an American composer. It's called Dance for Sane, and we heard the Paris Accordion Orchestra play it, and it was just haunting. And this is a recording of our accordion orchestra doing it. We'll just do about, how long is it? Let's do 2.5 minutes. Okay. This is so we're covering people who were very significant in Stan's life. This is Joanna Darrow, and she was his first wife, and she passed away. And then a few years later, he had 3 children with her: Anthony, David, and Lisa, and they all played accordion. So it was very nice. So, okay, all right, let's go to, and then this is. Ta-da. I couldn't leave that out. Anyway, here at Stan had so many interests, and consequently, I did too. But this is a 1941 Chrysler, and obviously on our wedding day. Okay. Then this is the banner for our accordion school. And we still have that, still use it. And with his accent on education, we had what was called the Saturday Conservatory program in our studio. And our students were hand-selected to be a part of that program, and not everyone could be in it. But that included, in addition to your regular accordion lesson and your band practice that everyone was part of, you had ear training, additional theory to the theory that you had in your regular class, performance class, a hand-select quintet rehearsal, and you had lots of extra practice time. Monitored practice time. So in any case, these were some of the things that were a part of our studio because he felt they were so important, and they were. We've developed quite a few people who've gone into music as their career. I was trying to find out which symphony orchestra Joseph Juntet just retired from, but he was like a state symphony orchestra conductor, came through from us, and Roman Pavlovsky also was a professional conductor, so he brought up a lot of people that went into the field. Okay, so now it also had a junior and senior recital series. There were different grades that you would have to complete requirements for to be promoted, so there were 10 levels. You could not be promoted from level 7 unless you did a junior recital. So that meant sharing a solo program with one other person, and you would do half a program, and that was part of your training and performance training. And the senior recital you had to do by yourself. So, it went all the way up. This is a band practice. And I think you can see the enthusiasm and the happiness in his face from actually doing that. He really loved working with kids and teaching people and helping them. So in addition to that, there were funny pictures. There were crazy things that we did. We took students on field trips. Overnight field trips to Harper's Ferry, nonetheless, where we also did that picture. But we would go to the museums in Philadelphia, go to concerts. I mean, it wasn't just you go to a music school once a week for a lesson. There was an entire family there. So the next one is a trip of us at Valley Forge at the Belle Carillon. The Carillon, we were given a workshop or a guided thing about what the Carillon is. And our quintets toured Europe. Every about 4 or 5 years, we'd have another quintet, the next level group coming up, and we'd train them to go on tour, and we'd take them to Europe. Iceland was always the first stop. Iceland, Paris, Germany. One of the groups went to Belgrade and Petrograd and came back. And this was just the whole part of cultural development and friendship with your accordion, things that you grew and developed with. as being a part of your life, because everyone changes, even to a small degree, once you start traveling to other countries. Okay. We had guest teachers all the time coming, and he was from England, and also I think he worked, had a studio or taught in South Africa someplace. So he would give lessons and do band and everything. And here are some more people. This is Jaroslav Lok from the Czech Republic. Salvatore Di Gesualdo actually giving me a lesson. And he's a very fine concert artist from Italy. Marie Dodova. Inched out of the photograph almost, and she was from the Czech Republic also. And this is Joe Junta, learning conducting and training also in one of our groups. And this is Salvatore Di Gesualdo again. So we had a lot of experience. He brought a lot of people in for us to be exposed to and to gain from. There will always be concerts and festivals presenting other artists. There's the Lyo Trio from Finland. This is that's Salvatore Di Gesualdo. Let me see the next one. It's Elaine Muzikini. I'm not sure, but I think wasn't he one of the world champions? Yeah. And this is a program from Guaping. And he was on the board of the ATG for a short while. And then this is a picture of our adult hobby club. Just mostly people who are retired. That's our club, not our orchestra. That are retired and just want to keep their skills going. Some of them taking lessons, some of them not because they studied before. And this is one picture of our orchestra, and this is more a serious group that likes to play more serious concert music. And this plaque is where the mayor proclaimed that our orchestra was the official community orchestra of Haddon Township. Orchestra did, and that was made. This was the cassette, actually. So the next solo is the Ukrainian Fantasy with Stan playing as a solo. We can do the whole thing. Yeah. Okay. These are copies of some of the programs of the music that he would do at different places, like on the American Forces, the Army bases in like Stuttgart, giving programs for the dependents, the schools, and also programs for the families of the dependents. The music, there was music of Charles Ives, Henry Cowell, Alan Ivanis. Strolling in Space by Edwin Averill, which is very interesting. I should send out. If I get any of your email addresses, I'll send it to you. It's very nice. And then going into the standard accordion literature that has been performed, and then following that with music of the introduction of avant-garde, and into new ideas and electronically written or picturesque kind of notation, graphic notation. After that, this is some of the America houses and the American embassies have programs where they present American artists in whatever country they're in. And these are just, I'll go through these very quickly. This is in Nuremberg, where we performed, and there's the program, but I'm just going to keep going because we're going to run out of time if I don't. And then there's another one, the America House of Stuttgart, which details the kind of programs that were given. You can go ahead, a couple. Yeah, this is the blue program, and the next one past that also. Okay, this is a program from Paris for the Accordion Orchestra of Paris, and that we performed as guests. And keep going. Next. The next one. And the next one. And this is a program of one of our quintets did as they were traveling through Europe. But it's, I mean, like I said, unless, I don't know if you can see it, it's Toccata and Fugue, Pachelbel and Chernohorsky, J.S. Bach, Fugue in G minor, Bach Goes to Town by Alex Templeton, Celtic Contrast, Eddie Harris, that kind of a varied program. Okay, let me see next. There's another listing of repertoire, and you can come and take a look at some of these files on my computer after if you're interested in seeing that. Then there's programs that he did in Teachergrad at the university, concerts and lectures, and a tour schedule, listing places. We performed radio, television, and at the universities and elementary schools as well. And a lot of American Army bases and Air Force bases. So this is a program that he gave at the Trossingen Accordion College. Again, if you, like I said, if you want to see the titles or whatever, we can do that later. And this is a certificate from the Scottish Music School, Trossingen, and another recital. And the next one. And this was for the U.S. forces in Reykjavik, Iceland. The next, that one there. Iceland had a good amount of accordion activity. Okay, so next are some of them. This is a duet album that we did. On one side was duet. On the other side was Father Stanley Kloskowski, jazz. Now, the interesting part about this is Father Kloskowski, I met him when I was about 17. Stan already had known him a long time before that, and because he went to Catholic schools, and Father Stan was at one of those. But Father Stan, of course, he played accordion and did jazz, and he wanted all the kids in the Catholic school to learn how to play accordion. So we actually taught were loaned instruments, and they had class lessons for several years. So that was when I was still in high school. And then eventually, as Father Stan gets promoted from one level to the next, he becomes Monsignor Kloskowski. And when Stan and I got married, he did our ceremony. And it was really nice. I tried to get a picture of him with his accordion with us, but he wouldn't do it. So anyway, all right. So the next is Cassandra. And this is an original accordion. This is written originally for accordion and voice, female voice, or flute. You could play it, whatever. So we did it on 2 accordions. And I'm going to show you the music. And I have some copies here. The next, oops, it looks like we skipped one. You have 62? Okay, so this is some of the contemporary or avant-garde notation. The circle meaning to do it for a time span that was marked in the music, and a repeated figure on the second line. So the next page is actually the music, but can you play the music at the same time the screen is up with this on it? Because if you could, there's 3 pages to this, and then everybody can follow it. Cassandra was published by New Arts Press, which was my husband and Guy Klusevsik, and they wrote. Guy Klusevsik wrote several things that were published. Yaron Nurbajan, who was an international composer, wrote some things, an American Suite by him, and this Cassandra was Guy Klusevsik. But anyway, they also had one by Pauline Oliveris, and then there was some Baroque transcriptions by Henry Purcell and other Baroque composers. Here is, I'm going to put these out here, and anyone who wants these can have these. They're free. I'll just leave them out here. At the end, you can get them. Okay. That's it. Let's go forward to the Preludium Oaks. Joanna Darrow Publications had not published any freebase material at all, and Stan interested them in doing it. And one of the first things they did was a piece called Elevation and Fugato, which he edited, and also Preludium Oaks, which were for people learning how to do double voices in the left hand and double voices in the right hand. But there was another piece. Oh, this is Meteor Shower. I'm sorry. Meteor Shower is aleatoric notation. I'm wondering if I have it here. Yeah. Here it is. This is, you can go to the next one. It should be. This is an instructional page for the different graphic notation, and there is the actual music. Now, I think if you just look at that, you could probably tell what it is. But this is also how, like, Music Garden and Kindermusik teach notation to children right from the very beginning, where they are not up to reading notes on staves and things like that, but they can read symbols and learn what to do. And that's what this was for. Okay, so we can go ahead on. This is just the cover of the Preludium Oaks and Elevation and Fugato. I gave copies to Helmy. If any of you are interested, she can make photocopies of them because this is out of print. And the next one is 3 Pieces on 3 Emotions. And this was written by Stan for each one of his children. And we have a sound sample and you can follow it. And this was recorded by myself. Okay, there it is, and then it's the sound file. I don't know if everybody can, are you able to see it at all from there? Yeah. But he never once stopped learning. He just thought there's always something to be learned around the next corner. Okay. Let's jump up to 105. In the back, there are some the LPs, and you'll see on the back of them there are people like Mervyn Zelvikar, soloists on the back of the LPs. These were the first serious LPs that came out in the United States for accordion original literature, and you can see back there. I want to go to this. I figured I'd just spend a few minutes covering a few of his hobbies before we go to the end. Postcards. Postcards were something he sent to everybody, but he collected strange postcards. I still have boxes of postcards to go through. But anyway, there's a whole bunch of them that have accordion on them. And then the next interest was anything that had to do with automobiles, car graveyards, or you can get calendars like that, or gas stations, things of that nature. And old cities. This is Philadelphia. He would how they put out all these books all the time of old Chicago or old whatever. We have them all. So now then the next thing, of course, was antique cars. That was his 1948 Lincoln Continental. And here's an unusual postcard of a concert piano hands. And then unusual ones like this, building skyscrapers in New York, and doing also say trapeze walkers that would walk between buildings and stuff like that. Really unusual stuff. Then he also collected postcards or photographs that were of the celebrities, either with an accordion because they played accordion, or with an accordion because they were just trying one on, or going to be in a scene required it. So here we have Elvis, and next is this is a negative, Heifetz and Shirley Temple. And there are many others, but let me see. And then some of his other interests, there should be a word file there. Before that, there's a word file. I can just read it, it's okay. One of the things that he wanted when he was getting out of the Army, or when he was going in the Army, I should say, was to become a test pilot. He didn't have any fear for anything. Rules didn't apply. So anyway, he was interested in the history of course, the Korean War, which is the war that he was in, World War I, World War II, and the American Civil War. He just was an encyclopedia of details on those different subjects. And then here we come to this final project that was just completed. In fact, it was completed so late that I left New Jersey and it was shipped to Dee's house. So it would be there when I get there. So this is a CD that has some duets on by Stan and myself, Stan and Gerard Greasy, Stan and Frank Hudnicki. It has 4 or 5 solos of him himself, the ones you heard, plus more. And there's also a chamber piece on there. So, and we have them here if you're interested. And they're $15. So, but is there anybody? Yeah, I have to say that. And as I was doing this, it kept coming back to me that you lose a lot of that as the time goes by, and it really was a lot of different memories came back. Anyone else? Yes. Yeah, she was strong. I had one lesson with her, and yeah, it was, I thought it was great, but it wasn't, not in her mind. So anyway, okay, yes.
I collect postcards. I write postcards all over the world. I was interested, how many postcards did your husband have?
I have no idea because before, while he was ill, the ceiling came down in his office, and the cabinet that had the postcards on it collapsed over, and it rained inside. Yeah. So a lot of stuff got ruined, but we did save a lot. But it's a lot of those things are still in boxes for me to go through. I have like 3 more boxes to go through. I've been through all the rest to pull this together. But yeah, no, there were hundreds, and they were all special, kind of special, unique ones. So, anyone else? Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you. Don't forget there's some free music up here.
So thank you, everyone, for joining us on this live stream. We're going to reset the stage, and then we will be back. We will be back at 2:45 with Dee Langley. So please join us then.